Hello there, welcome to the Perfume Experience. Welcome back to a special video. So today I'm going to feature to you 10 barbershop fragrances. I've been trying out a few barbershop fragrances and reviewing them since the last couple of weeks or so, right? So on this particular list, I will compile all 10 fragrances and that I think are really good that you can collect, you can buy, you can try as barbershop fragrances as part of your collection, right? Now, before we get going on this particular video, if you kind of like the content that I bring, you get a video almost every day. So if you like that, you please subscribe, hit the like button, click on the notifications icon so you get notified about the video, right? So you're watching the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Let's get going right after this intro. Right, so let's get going. So first of all, before we get into the fragrances itself, let's just talk about what are barbershop fragrances. So barbershop fragrances are fragrances that kind of remind you of a barbershop, right? So what does that mean? That means whenever you've gone to a barbershop where you've gone for a shave or where you've gone for a haircut, the oils, the creams, the shaving foams that they apply, that is what you like, and that's the kind of fragrances that are called barbershop fragrances. Now, typically these will have some common type of note profile, scent profile. For example, they'll have a lot of spices, they'll have some woody elements like sandalwood, vetiver, they'll have some earthy components like vetiver as well, or some mossy components like oak moss. Then you will have some lavender, you will have some talcum. So these are certain things profile. You can also expect a lot of freshness, a lot of minty elements, green elements as well, right? So by and large, this is the scent profile of barbershop fragrances. So let's get going right after this. Let's get going, and the first fragrance that I would like to talk to you about in this list is Jovan Sex Appeal. Okay, now Jovan Sex Appeal is very popular among a lot of fragrance as an excellent barbershop fragrance. Now, if you have had Clean Cut by DK, then I would say you can avoid this, or if you have this, don't get that. Okay, so one of this, because most of the scent profile is similar. Now, what is this? This is mostly a boozy, spicy, fresh, minty kind of a fragrance where you have a good amount of lavender, you have a good amount of talcum note that you kind of get. Now, that's the general scent profile of this. You have a lot of ambriness also in this particular fragrance. So that's what you kind of get. It's a very old school, nice kind of a fragrance where the performance is also pretty decent for the first few minutes, right? Now, for the 20-40 minutes, you get a good projection, more than 2 to 3 feet of projection easily. But the lasting is not so great. You will get about 4 to 5 hours on the higher side. Maybe about 3 to 4 hours is what I would say is a typical good, lasting of this particular one. Now, the good thing is that it's very pocket friendly. You get a 88 ml for about 800 to 900 rupees at maximum on any of the e-commerce sites. So if I'll try and put the buying links for all of these fragrances. So in case you'd want to get this, you can definitely ping us as well. I will try and help you with this, right? So yes, if you are looking for a very nice, slightly sweet, spicy, boozy, lavender, okay, that kind of a fragrance, you can definitely consider this. You can look at the notes of the fragrance on the website. You will probably find things like geranium, woody, lavender, that kind of a note profile, but this is an excellent barbershop fragrance to start. So this is Jovan Sex Appeal. This will say is number 10. Next, let me talk to you about from the house of Jashan fragrances. Now, I have kind of kept 3 here as possible good barbershop fragrances, but this is not like the top 10, but I would say. So, for example, Aromatic Fougere is something that you can consider from Jashan fragrances. This has got a lot of spicy green elements to it, little bit of very spicy, very sharp, a little bit of vinegar type of an element also is something that you will smell. That is something that you can consider. But I would say JPH EDT is a very nice one. This has got a good amount of spicy, boozy element, a little bit of talcum. But best that I would bring at number 9 is called Daddy Issues. Now, for me, this has got a lot of ink. Okay, it's got a little bit of woody elements, it's got citrus, it's got a lot of spicy elements, good fragrance, scent profile is very good, projection is superb. You put this on the first 1.5 hour, it's super projection, it's very good that way, loud, but I would say the performance in terms of lasting, I've got only about 4 hours or so. But if you're looking for a nice, spicy, inky, woody, talcum, okay, lavender kind of a fragrance, then this is a really good one to consider. The ink note, which is like typically that you see on pen and all of that, that ink note when it's on barbershop fragrances is very good. You also kind of feel that there is pencil shavings, like the woody element that you kind of get, that is also very nice. Overall, an excellent fragrance, but the problem with this is it's quite expensive because the 4 ml costs 288 rupees. So you can think about a 50 ml costing upwards of 1500 or so, right? So, but if you want to get from Jashan fragrances, you can definitely consider Daddy Issues. Next, number 8, let's say we'll call this Brut from the house of Brut Parfums. Now this is probably another very cheap fragrance on this particular list because you kind of get this for about 500 rupees. It's 100 ml that you get at this price point. Now what is nice about this is typical to your Brut DNA that you have, your deodorants, your aftershave, all of that smells exactly like this. Now this is, you can say that this is a slightly sweeter, it's woody, it's spicy, it's a very nice lavender based, talcum based, perfume. Now the thing about this is also light on projection, so you get only about 2 feet of projection, I would say, and also the good the lasting is also kind of similar, so you get maybe about 2 to 3 hours or 3 to 4 hours at maximum. But this is an excellent barbershop fragrance for you to try. You will definitely enjoy this one if you kind of like old school fragrances very much. This is a good one to have, right? And at 500 rupees it definitely is not a pocket breaker at all. So if you are planning to have a good barbershop collection, you can start with this. This is also very, very good. This is Brut original. It's definitely a good barbershop fragrance at about 500 rupees. This is number 8. Number 7 that I'd like to feature is a fragrance that I featured recently called as Retro. Now this is from an Indian company called as Nemo Shaving, and they have a lot of barbershop fragrance supplies. Okay, so whether it's fragrances, aftershaves, they have balms, they have soap, they have an entire lineup of shaving related items. And so if that is something of your interest, you can definitely check out their website. Now I recently featured this particular fragrance called Retro. Now the thing about this is I would say a sweet fragrance which has got a little bit of citrus element. It's got a good amount of lavender, it's got a good amount of geranium, and a good amount of sweetness as well. So maybe some cinnamon, star anise, that kind of oriental spices also, which brings that sweetness. And of course you have a lot of woody elements. Okay, so overall very, very nice kind of a barbershop fragrance, slightly different from the ones that I've tried because it's got that sweeter element. So if you like sweet fragrances, this is definitely a go-to fragrance, because most of the barbershop fragrances you will feel, or you will find them, that they're more spicy, they're more ambery, they're more masculine, not generally very sweet. Okay, so this is slightly on that take, where this is a little more sweeter compared to the other fragrances, but you get a nice amount of citrusy freshness. You have a little bit of that minty freshness that you get, but mostly a woody one. And the good thing is this performs really, really well as well. You get more than 5-6 hours of lasting from what I recollect. So at 500 rupees, this is a 50 ml that you get, and it's excellent bang for buck that way. So it's a very good addition that you can have, and this is in our decants list in case you want to try this as well. So this is available as well, right? So this is Retro from Nemo Shaving. So that makes up, I think, number 7. Okay, and let's get on to the next fragrance. So number 6, number 5 are 2 fragrances that I recently reviewed. These are from Muzna. These are basically, the first one, let's call this as denim. So denim is basically based on the denim cologne that you have, which is again an aftershave, shaving foam and all of that. This is excellent in my opinion. This is a more of a lavender, okay, citrusy, you can say that, a little bit of spicy elements, and a very nice concoction which is very, very manly. You get a beast mode performance in my opinion, 3 feet plus, and projects last for about 8-10 hours easy, more than that on your clothes as as well. This is really, really good if you're looking for a classic spicy fragrance which has got that manly affair to it, and it really is a nice one. Okay, especially if you like this kind of old school kind of fragrances, when you talk about Brut and all of that, this is really, really nice. It's powerful, it's lasts very long, and it's very masculine in my opinion. And you get this, I think, for about 600 odd rupees for 50 ml, so you can definitely consider this. This is number 6. At the same time, number 5 I would say is Old Spice, because Old Spice is again based out of that similar shaving foam type of a scent profile. The difference is Old Spice has got a lot of oriental spices, lot of star anise, lot of cardamom, ginger, that kind of note profile. But again, there is also a lot of woody elements, there's also a lot of spicy elements to it. Now both are really, really good. I kind of like this one as well. This is also a nice fragrance, but this feels a little more woody. This feels a little more milder compared to denim. Denim is out there loud. This feels a little more softer that way, but both are excellent performers. Both will do 3 feet plus and about 8 to 9 hours easy performance. So if you like old school fragrances, then definitely, yeah, denim and Old Spice must be on that list. So this is number 5, and you can get them from Muzna if you are looking for a good alternative. Yasmin also makes a good one. They have different options that you can look at, Old Spice, but I kind of like the one from Muzna because I felt that is more closer to the Old Spice shaving foam DNA as such, right? So on that, especially the spicy element, the oriental spice, slight amount of sweetness, the woody element part is really nice in Old Spice, right? So that kind of brings up to almost half the list. Let's look at the number 4 to number 1 or number 5 to number 1. Okay, right, get going. Alright, so I think number 5 is this. This is again from the house of Muzna. This is an alternate of Barbershop. So this also I've done a full review. You can check out the full review there. Now this, according to me, is one of the best. In fact, if I were to probably pick from the entire list of Barbershop fragrances, this probably would be my best or top picks, so easily so to say, because this is a fragrance that's got a good amount of spicy element, it's got a good amount of talcum, it's got a lot of geranium, it's got a lot of mint vibe, it's got a freshness, it's got woody elements, it's got the talcum part which is fantastic, and I think if I'm not wrong, it's also got iris as well, which makes it very, very nice. Now this is a performance beast as well because this projects to more than 3 feet plus and lasts the entire day. Now this has also got oak moss, it's also got vetiver as well, I feel. And because of that, there's that earthiness, there's that woody element, there's that talcumness that comes into this fragrance. On the whole, this is one of the best barbershop fragrances that you can try. In fact, if you want to consider thinking that, okay, I have never tried barbershop fragrances and I want to try a fragrance which is probably the best way of saying this is the best barbershop fragrance, I would say Tom Ford's Eau de Jour is definitely one among them. And this alt that Muzna has got is like superb, okay? So it's very, very close, or I would think that it's pretty close because the way in which the scent profile opens, the way the notes are, it also looks very good. If I could get a OG, I will definitely compare and say how close that is. But nonetheless, if you're looking at it as an individual fragrance also, this is a classic one to get because of that nice lavender, talcum, woody, spicy, elements which are there on a fragrance that you want, and smells really great. It's one of the best that you can consider. This is Eau de Jour from Muzna, an alt of Tom Ford. Alright, number 3 on this particular list is a classic fragrance which doesn't need any introduction. This is the one-man show from Jacques Bogart. Now this is a EDT concentration, but this is a classic, amazingly super lasting EDT concentration. You should get this for about 1500 rupees roughly from any of the e-commerce website. But what is great about it is this is a spicy kind of a fragrance. Now when you put this on, you get a very good blast of spicy elements with a lot of mint, vanilla, leather, woody elements, lot of spicy elements. Okay, very nice. And there is this thing about ambery, geranium type of a hint, which is this classic boozy type of a vibe, but with a lot of spicy elements because there is also leather and vanilla at it, and then there is mint. It brings a lot of freshness. Okay, so these are very typical way of how barbershop fragrances smell like, but the way this is done is really, really nice. Now the good thing is this is a performance based because you get easily about 3 feet plus of projection, and on apparel it will last a whole day. Okay, it is not going to go off. It's very masculine, non-sweet, it's very ambery, very, very good. So you get a excellent value for money, bang for buck with this kind of a fragrance, and this is superb to consider. I think this will be number 3 on my list. So this is Jacques Bogart's one-man show. So number 2 is, I would say, is Egoist Platinum. This is an alternate from Muzna again. Now I tried a lot of Muzna fragrances for barbershop fragrances, so that I have mostly from them. So this is a very good one because this has got rosemary, it's got geranium, it's got neroli, it's got a lot of woody elements, it's got a lot of ambery elements as well. But this is really, really nice. Now the thing about this particular one, unlike the other ones, it doesn't bring a lot of talcum woody elements straight off, but then it opens up with a lot of green hints. Okay, so that's what makes this very, very appealing and very masculine, because it's got a lot of that sharp elements and spicy elements, but mostly the green accord types. The woody elements part comes much later, and after about an hour and a half, it becomes more talcum as a nature. Then it brings the talcum part, it brings the powdery elements, all of that into the fragrance, but this also projects well. So in my opinion, this easily does about 3 feet and lasting about 6 to 7 hours. But it's very classic, it's very manly, it's very, very beautiful. So if you're looking for a very good old school fragrance that you can consider, because the classic Platinum Egoist costs more than 10,000 rupees. So if you're looking for a good alternate, I think this is also something that you can definitely consider. Very, very nice classic fragrance, good amount of spicy element. And if you notice something, in all of the barbershop fragrances, you don't really deviate a lot in terms of signature scent. There are certain elements which are common, the spiciness, the woody elements, the green accord, all of that remains common in most one of them, right? So you can definitely consider Platinum Egoist. This is my number 2 pick. Another bonus I would talk to you about is Musk Ravager. This is also very, very good. Pretty nice in terms of the way scent profile opens, but then this has also got a nice amount of talcum as well. Okay, let me just do one quick spray to just give you a hint. Okay, very good fragrance, lasts longer again, just like Platinum Egoist. But I would say again it's more spicy, a little bit more on the lines of how Jacques Bogart is. This is also something that you can definitely consider, which is Musk Ravager. Okay, so these are up to number 2, and let's get to my favorite barbershop fragrance right after this. Alright, so the number 1 pick for me for a barbershop fragrance has to be my Timeless 4.0, which is basically Dior's Eau Sauvage from 1960s something. Okay, so this is my favorite barbershop fragrance, or as one of my favorites you can say, because this is got a lot of citrusy freshness, it's got a lot of caraway, it's got a lot of spicy elements and many things happening, a lot of green elements, woody elements, all of that. But what you kind of get is a very nice fragrance that, you know, brings a lot of freshness. Okay, it brings that beautiful classiness that you would want in a gentleman's fragrance. And though this is a barbershop fragrance, this doesn't really revolve a lot around ink note as such or a lot of spiciness. This brings more of a floral note, which is mostly from those geranium, that kind of a spicy elements that brings up that freshness. Okay, it's very, very nice compared, and I would say this is very different to all of them here. Okay, and this is really, really good because of performance is superb. You get a 3 hours plus or 3 feet plus of projection lasting more than 6-7 hours. In fact, I would say it can go a whole day if you put a full wearing. And most importantly, it smells classic in a very different way because this is a very old creation from Scentadelic, and the way this particular fragrance opens up with that note of that freshness that you get from those light floral spicy hints and that amber, all of that is superb. Plus this particular fragrance has got a lot of mossy element like oak moss, it's got orris root which brings that iris part of it, it's got vetiver, it's got musk, it's got amber. On the whole, really, really good. But the main thing is it's got a good amount of freshness because of the citrus element, a lot of spiciness and a little bit of this floral accord like rose, lavender that brings up, and then there is a nice amount of, you know, vetiver, musk, amber. On the whole, superb, right? So that is my number 1 pick for a barbershop fragrance. Okay, and I think this is a fantastic list for you to consider. In fact, I think I've featured close to about 15 fragrances on the whole, so to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So almost 13 fragrances. Honorable mentions are Zeno from Davidoff also is a very good one. I think Lomani also is a good fragrance to consider. But beautiful set of barbershop fragrances because they bring in that old masculine, you know, spicy manliness, gentlemanness, all of that you like in a old school fragrance. And if old school fragrance is something that you should try, you can definitely get any of these and, you know, start your journey of barbershop fragrances, right? And you do let me know if you want to add any of these into our decant collection for you to try. We can definitely do so. I think Joe and Sex Appeal will definitely get into that collection. We can also add Brut, we can also add One Man Show, and let me know any other fragrances that you would want to be added as part of the decants list, right? A video like this takes a lot of time and effort because it's difficult to remember all the notes and all of the scent profile, lasting and all of that. Plus, with a regular job and doing all of this takes a little bit of time and effort. So it would be really, you know, nice to see a good amount of comments, likes, and you know, your thoughts to let me know how you like the content, how you like the kind of videos that I bring and the content that I present to you. So if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. You're watching The Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Until another time, take care. Bye now.